Hi Cancer, Happy New Year. This is going to be general messages for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for the year of 2020. I'm not going to be covering every little thing. I'm just going to be covering the aspects that I think are going to be most prevalent for Cancerian archetypes. Definitely check your rising sign, your moon sign, and your Venus sign to get the full picture of where you guys are going to be at in the upcoming year. I am going to be doing January read next week. I'm going to be pulling apart more in detail each month as we go along, but this is just to get a general energetic vibe about what's going to be going on in the sky for you guys. And Cancer, it really is a powerful one for sorting out your one-to-one relationships and for discovering what you can do on your own this year too. I mean, the eclipse finishing up in your sign by mid-2020, thank goodness, right? You'll not only know where you stand, but you're also very ready and very poised for a new start. Absolutely. We have, the Saturn and Pluto conjunction in January. It does help you assess the strength of certain structures or anchors in your life right now, particularly involving your relationship. So if you're in a relationship that is no longer supporting you, what's happening with these cards? If you're in a relationship that's no longer supporting you, it may be time to break from them. Break them down before rebuilding. Whether or not you rebuild the same structure or begin something new, it's a time for recognizing the need to approach your attachment in definitely new, more empowering ways. So this influence in many ways is about tough love. Dysfunctional elements of relating need to go, and you'll need to be firm to take charge of your life. So if something has been in any way limiting or blocking your happiness and fulfillment in your relationships, you're ready to do something about it here, right? Fortunately, you have Jupiter blessing the sector of your chart that rules committed relationship for most of 2020, bringing wonderfully new supportive energies into this area of life. So you're pairing up for some really good reasons and good things to base your forward movement on. This can work on romantic, business, or platonic levels as well. I mean, depending on your current situation. But it's a brilliant and very pivotal year for close relationships, Cancer. Honestly, with Jupiter and Pluto meeting in your partnership sector from April to November, you're on fire, ready to make sweeping improvements. Seriously, you really are. Now, Saturn's transiting out of your partnership sector where it spent several years bringing reality checks and often really heavy energy to your relationships or your concept of relationships anyway. So at times you've seen the less flattering side of others, let's say, and yourself, brought on throughout the partnership. But in this position, Saturn has been directly opposing your sign, and you may have often felt drained, pushed, or even prodded and very much tested. I know most Cancers have felt very tested, having to do with one relationship or another in their life. So while Saturn moves onward on March 21st, it returns July 1st to finish up its work on your partnership sector, only officially leaving on December 17th. So in other words, it's on its way out, and this does help take some of the direct pressure off, for sure. So let's see what we have for you, crowning energy. I'm going to be doing, I'll discuss what I'm going to be doing in a second. What do we have here? Black Moon Lilith. Ooh, deep. Deep, Cancer. Deep, deep, deep. Those of you who've gotten readings from me, I give a lot of emphasis to Black Moon Lilith because this is the dark side of us that lies in wait deep within us that really needs to be addressed at some point throughout our lifetime. And she ends up rearing her head at times where we least expect it. So let's just talk about what this energy indicates as far as it being your crowning energy. Something's lurking beneath the surface. Lilith appears as the dark part of your astrological chart, okay? So she is our shadow side, like the dark face of the moon where those maybe unaddressed or mysterious or unexplained things lie in wait, right? Things that maybe we're not even aware of. A lot of times, guys, we're just simply not aware of them. Some of the times we purposely place things there that we don't want to look at. But this does... it's like an invocation of what may or may not be there, right? So she can manifest as a couple of things, but two of which is self-realization, which is awesome, but also a type of madness, if that makes sense. So because this can mean a refusal to submit to something. So this is really not a good time to give in, Cancer, even when the path seems like a really rough one. So if you're in the middle of change and you are really wanting this transformation, and you're in a situation where, you know, in order to grow yourself out of the situation, it's really just going to take so much on different levels, and you feel very kind of disheartened by the whole thing, don't allow that to get in your way, right? Don't submit to the fear to not push yourself forward in doing something, and don't allow any of the negatives to get in the way of you actually tackling a certain path. You know, Lilith is a very subdued power and a very complicated kind of magnetism, you know, I have to say. And Lilith is that thing that stays awake while the rest of the world is asleep. Like, she's the dark thoughts that enter our consciousness just before we fall asleep. So it's like those nagging little things, right? That's Lilith. Right? Now, this energy can also indicate female rebellion. And when I say female, I mean the kind of female that is in all of us, regardless of whether we're females or males, right? Because we all have both within us. But this can represent, for many of you, an angry, restless, embittered, you know, troubled mother figure, okay? This can also indicate an enemy of some kind, or some sort of embittered woman that's in your energy field. So it could be you, or it could be you having to deal with somebody who is like this, or even a stalker energy, or somebody who feels very, very scorned by you in one way or another, right? But you do, Cancer, you definitely have a feeling that you're like waiting for something to happen, but you don't have the entire information, so the facts are hidden or very mysterious. It's like something is stalking, you know. And this is the Queen of the Queen of Swords energy, by the way, for those, because most of you are tarot people who are watching my channel, so it's the equivalent in the regular tarot to the Queen of Swords energy. So it's like you feel it, something's stalking you, you feel it, right? And the thing is, Lilith is sharp, and she knows, she senses, she processes what's there. So I'm getting that, Cancer, many of you are adapting this element, like your intuition is just going to be off the charts, off the charts. You're just going to feel very, very sharp to processing what's there, looking underneath things, around things, looking for the truth. Because Lilith feels slighted, right? I mean, Lilith, the sign, right, feels slighted. She can represent a very formidable foe or a dangerous enemy. So you really just keep an eye out for these energies. But it's through this energy that we discover creativity and the beauty that can exist in the darkness, as long as we keep our own demons in check and under our own, under rule. This is about learning through the darkness, learning even from the people who are in our life that are really on the dark side, where are the lessons learned. And guys, this is also about, Lilith is about karmic justice. The scales weighing out. This also has a lot of heavy sexual energy to it, for sure. The colors red and purple can mean a great deal to you this year. I mean, it means a lot. But those are the biggest energies that I wanted to bring forward for you. What a cool crowning energy to have when you have so much going on in your relationship houses. I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, you have a lot going on. And Saturn is transiting out of your partnership sector when it has spent several years bringing reality checks and all these heavy energies into your relationships. So you concept relationships, anything, anyway, right? Like I mentioned before. You got a lot going on here. The goal here, though, guys, is to like weed out any unhealthy attachments or dependencies, whether emotional or even financial, both, right? So this is a very important time. You're gonna have the help of Jupiter, at least during the first leg of the transit, to help you really adapt a whole new lifestyle. Things are going to just look so different for you guys this time next year. So I'm going to do a course of action spread. I'm going to do two. First, I'm going to do for relationship, and then I'm going to do for career and social life. So I'm doing for all some of the signs I'm doing 4 spreads. Some of them I'm only doing, 2. Some I'm doing 3. It depends on how the transits are rolling out that I feel called to. But the thing is, for you guys, like, honestly, relationships is such a huge deal that this is what we're going to be focusing on. So this represents what's in your core right now, current. Awesome. 10 of Swords, reverse energy. What to keep your eye out for. Number 2, Five of Pentacles. In this third position, we have the action that you should take in the near future. Okay, understand that. And then the outcome is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Now understand, these are based on current energy, so you could change the outcome here. For sure, we're energetic beings, we have free will. So we have the Ten of Swords as your core and current right now. So I'm not surprised. I just been working with so many Cancer energies, you know, my readings and whatnot. I do read as many of the messages as I can, guys. Please know, I honestly do. I'm gonna have a little more time now. I am a professor, and we are entering winter break season. So I'm going to be able to read more and do more readings and hopefully load more videos. Anyway, Ten of Swords reverse is saying like you are just totally like spent, Cancer, when it comes to something to do in the area of relationships. Now, for many of you, this is just you recognizing that something over time has just ultimately not served you. One sword at a time, over time, in your back, and you're done, and you're not willing to continue in this situation anymore. And I like that, because you're recognizing that the energies are not going to support it. You're recognizing that something needs to be done. Now, when I say that, again, I mean, you know, going back to what I mentioned before, it could just be that something needs to be broken down in order to be rebuilt. You know, all of your stories are going to be different, right? Because this is just addressing too many of you to only be one story. But this is about whatever cycle you've been in relationships and in your connections, it's got to be done. Now, when I say relationships, you got to understand, relationship sector doesn't only mean intimate relationships. This is your relationship. So this could be family connections, really close friendships, business partnerships. You know, I'm going to do career and social life separately, but as relationships, apply these messages as you see fit. Because many Cancers are in fabulous relationships, and the issue is more with family and friends. And I know many where career and family and friends are great, and it's relationships. So, but there is a definitive cycle that's over. What to keep your eye on? Five of Pentacles. Keep your eye out for any situation that you might be entering into that's not going to be able to bring you the support that you're looking for. This is all about mental, physical, and emotional connection here. And in the reverse, it's you not being able to get it, and you feeling like you're not going to be able, like you. This is a very mental energy, so it's you feeling like something is not going to be able to, someone, right? Because this is relationship, is not going to be able to bring you what it is exactly that you're looking for. And Cancer, this is the thing. I feel like you're at the point where you're very in touch with what it is that you need as far as these energy goes. You know what you need in the way of communication. You know what you need in the way of connection. Cancer, you guys are so intuitive and so loving. I mean, you guys are home. So you know, obviously, you're all going to resonate with this differently, because if you're watching this, because Cancer is your sun sign, that's only one room in your house, right? I mean, you might be driven far more by your rising sign or by your moon sign. If you're born at night, right? If you're born at night, you might be ruled more by your moon sign, right? So it depends. But the archetype of Cancer is about love, home, family, but it's also about feeling the need immensely to feel secure in something. Whatever relationship you're in. If you don't feel that sense of security, you're not going to be able to stay in it. You're going to end up doing that crabby side shuffle. And you're either going to check out mentally, emotionally, and physically. And that's just the way it is with Cancer. So this is a time for you to really recognize if your need and accept it about yourself, because there's nothing wrong with that. Your incredible need to feel secure. And what does that mean for you? That's going to be different. I mean, is it that you require more communication than the next guy? You require more physical touch? You know, a lot of times this has to do with what else is in your chart. I'll give you a quick example of that. Like, let's say you're a Cancer sun, right? But then let's say you're a Taurus moon or even a Taurus rising. Taurus is all about physical contact, connection, you know, the physical connection, the physical touch, right? So let's say you have that. With the Cancerian energy, your way of feeling really secure will be through the physical touch, the hands-on stuff, and maybe even getting gifts, right? Because that would be like a Taurus thing, having anything to do with like the pentacle energy, like being given gifts and being given things in the 3D to be shown, right? So if you have like this earth energy in you, whereas if you have maybe air, right, more air, maybe it's Gemini or, you know, Libra, Aquarius, whatever, where to you it's more, you weigh communication a little more heavily. So it's going to be different for all of you. I just wanted to give that as some perspective. But it's about you not even wanting to entertain. Keep an eye out. If someone is not able to give you what you need, tell them to keep going. You can't have it. You can't have it because then you're not going to be true to yourself. You're going to feel empty, and it's going to, the empty feelings will be perpetuated. And Four of Cups, this is a feeling, you know, so it's being disillusionment, right? But this is the action that you should have in the near future. But you know what? This is also the checklist card. Now, I'm going to give it to you in the way that I'm getting it for this particular spread. You put your foot down and saying, listen, this is not okay, this is not okay, and this is not okay. The way you've been treating me in this way, that way, and the other way is just not okay. I know I have stuff on my end that I have to look at, but this is what you have been doing in this relationship that is just rubbing me the wrong way. Now, this can go for family, friend, intimate, business partnership. It doesn't matter. But this is the checklist card. But this is you at the same time owning your role in everything. You understand? So going back to the Black Moon, Lilith energy there, you know, this is really about you want to keep your own demons in check, right? And you want to keep your feet on the floor. And this is you recognizing, okay, you know what? I know not everything is all their fault. I mean, even if my fault is only that I let myself stay in it for this long, or whatever the case is, but it's you recognizing that in order for something to work for you, you have to have this very solid idea, this checklist of what you know will not work for you. It's more important for you guys to know right now what won't work for you than what will. Because if you just put what will, you can be closing yourself off to new experiences. And you don't want to do that because the energy supports you meeting new people, expanding your social circle. Okay, which I'll get to, you know, after this, because I'm going to throw that into the career and social life part, but you don't want to close yourself off to anything. So right now, it's just enough for you to identify what it is that doesn't work for you. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed in your outcome position. So this is telling me that, you know, and again, right now, this is based on current energies. Pentacle reverse is feeling lack, right? And feeling greedy. Like feeling, on the one hand, not having what you want in the relationship, and at the same time feeling very, holding those ideas very close to your chest. So holding back your communication, holding back emotional, physical, and mental connection. Holding back, for some of you, this could even be holding back resources within a relationship. And this tells me that right now, the outcome position, the way it is right now, if you continue on the path that you're on right now, based on the energies that we're in right now, this Ten of Swords energy, because I understand this outcome energy based on where we're at right now. Because if this is your call right now of feeling hurt and there being in the end of a cycle, you being really cautious and just not wanting to, like, really honestly, just not even wanting to deal anymore. And what happens when we don't want to deal is we end up closing ourselves off in a certain way. You know? And right now, it's just going to be about identifying what you don't want. If you're not going to get the support and connections that you want, you got to whip out that checklist card, right? But at the same time, I see here you closing yourself off. I see. So let's get some more energies on that. I don't need the Ten of Swords to be clarified. I get that. Let's clarify the rest of them. Yeah, I mean, obviously, right? What to keep your eye on. The Five of Pentacles, what did I just say? If somebody can't give you the support and the connection and the communication and all that you need, right? it's very important for you to identify. Again, this is what you're keeping your eye out for. You're not going to be able to have a strong foundation with them. So this is just understanding that you're just not going to be able to have it with them. If whether it's a person you're with that can't get their act together, or it's somebody new, it doesn't matter. The Hierophant, absolutely, with the Four of Cups energy, this is about you tapping into your moral compass. This is a checklist as well. I mean, this is about the way you frame reality, what you consider, what does integrity mean to you? What is a relationship supposed to look like? This is you getting like front and center with it. Your Hierophant energy is all about your spirituality and what you feel should be true for you. This is Cancer's reality, Cancer's spirituality, Cancer's truth, Cancer's faith. And you are just not willing to be with anybody in any way, shape, or form that does not speak to your highest truth and what's right for you. It doesn't mean that you are not going to be, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be temperance here. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to give somebody, you're going to give exactly what you're getting back. Everything that you're looking for, Cancer, you will give back to somebody. You're not a one-way street by any stretch, but it just seems like Cancer ends up in these situations where there is this high degree of imbalance, and you're just not letting it happen anymore. Black Moon Lilith is not letting it happen. Queen of Pentacles, let's say, ooh. All right, listen. We got the Devil reverse. Yeah. All right. Cancer, you're going to close yourself off and you're going to go into this deep space of ruminating. But I do like the Devil reverse, because the Devil reverse does indicate that you, in your mind, you're going to be very much getting in contact with the fact that you're doing this, because this is a low vibrational energy. This is a form of a Devil energy. I think the Queen of Pentacles reverse is closing yourself off. The Devil energy is anything where there's imbalance that ends up working not to our benefit, right? That is the Devil energy. I mean, after all, isn't that what addiction is? Isn't that what, of any kind, right? It's low vibrational thinking. That's what all of this is, and that's what this is. Queen of Pentacles reverse is, you might be protecting yourself, but it is low vibe thinking. It's closing yourself off. It's not allowing yourself to stay open. But in the Devil reverse energy, this tells me that you're getting in touch with it. You really are. And then you're going to take a minute and figure out how you're going to take all these past experiences that you've gone through and assimilate them in a way where you're going to be able to, in a healthy way, work them into your life moving forward. This includes every lesson that you've learned in relationships and what it is exactly that you need and what you really do not want in your relationships moving forward. You're going to be very pensive right now. I love that. Because this shows me, Cancer, that you're not going to be doing anything flippantly. Because sometimes Cancers can do that. They can be very reactive. And I think you're being more responsive now. Reactive is just, without thinking. And the Hermit energy tells me that you're really going to allow yourself to be in a space of recognizing, the cycles in your life where there's been self-sabotaging behavior and where you're going to make these changes that you need to really align, on your path moving forward. So I think this is really, really positive. I really like this for you. Identifying what doesn't work for you, super important right now. Really more than anything. What doesn't work? What doesn't work? But keeping yourself open to the rest of it, Cancer. I mean, even down to like the type of people that you meet. If you normally, if you're wanting to meet somebody else and you typically go for like a certain type of person, open yourself up. Go for what's on the inside, less external, more internal. That speaks to Cancer for the most part anyway. I think most Cancers are like that anyway, really. I mean, obviously, we all have to be attracted on one level or another, right? For those we have an intimate relationship with, and we have to be attracted in one way or another to somebody in a certain way to really want to bother having a friendship with them, right? Things with family are a little different, right? We don't get to pick them. It's a little different there, but nonetheless, we are more closely connected with certain family members than others, right? It's just the way it goes. So let's see what we have going on with your career, right? I mean, the new themes entering your life this year involve boosting wellness and well-being, and just rediscovering your passions and motivations about what you do for work. Venus retrogrades in your privacy sector in May and June, and Mars retrogrades in your career and reputation sector from September to November. And both of these events suggests you looking back before you move forward, encouraging you to discover or rediscover what's in your heart and what really, really drives you. And this is about learning what genuinely touches you. It's a really powerful process because you're coming to see those things that have been holding you back from really embracing your happiness. Really embracing your happiness. And will you look at what we have in the current core? I mean, really? 10 of Swords. Different deck, same card. Cancer. It's all good. You know what? I'm not mad at this at all. Because you know what? In the second half of the year, your career goals or your responsibilities and your status come under review. Okay? So there's change here. As you identify those things that are no longer exciting or motivating, you make room for discovering new passions or rediscovering old motivations that deserve a second look. Yes. So, you might feel that your ambitions, sometimes you might feel that your ambitions in your relationships are kind of like at odds, if that makes sense. Like what you want to do in your work and then your relationships, they might be at odds. But both areas of your life need special attention. And like one should not suffer for the other. So, for example, let's say you want to start your own business, but you're a mother. And you are home with the kids most of the time, and starting this business requires more time away from home, and you might need your partner to step in, or you might need family members to step in to help you, and there could be like people giving you a hard time with this, okay? So there has to be balance there, because there is definitely going to be this idea of trying to balance the personal with the professional kind of thing, but you are so set to expand your mind and experiences. I mean, honestly, many of you could be, I feel like, traveling for business. You're at least going to be in contact with a lot of new people, new studies, new interests. Significant connections can be made or enhanced through these things for sure in 2020, going into 2021. I do feel like a lot of you, having to do with like your social area. I just feel like a lot of you have felt kind of stagnant, and I feel like you're going into a new cycle, like this old cycle's over. As this is likely to be a beautiful period for developing your social life in very non-traditional ways. Kind of like I said before, but supportive and very inspiring nonetheless. You can be meeting some awesome new people. New ways of doing things, new ways of doing business can emerge. You're innovating your social life. Really awesome new options are opening up to you, related to pursuing goals that make you feel connected and happy and fulfilled. New channels for meeting people or different types of friends rather quickly become your new normal this year. You're doing a lot of inner work and development, but you're also taking time out to reach out and connect to people. And again, if you felt like your social life was in a little bit of a rut the past couple of years, this is all set to change because this cycle is over. Whatever cycle you were in, having to do with your career or your social life, this is definitely ending right now. And what to keep an eye on, 6 of Cups reverse energy, okay. 6 of Cups reverse energy is about a deep nostalgia for something in the past, okay? Because this has to do with career or social life. For many of you, this can have you rethinking, a previous path that you wanted to take in your life, having to do with your career, or reconnecting with people who you did business with at one time and maybe revisiting things with them in a way that could better serve you in a new way now in your life, having to do with your career. For many of you, this can be reaching back and into the past to reconnect with old friends. But this is very much about reconnecting with something in the past that you need to keep your eye out for. Now the only little caveat here that you want to keep in mind is that you want to make sure that the people or situations aren't in your past having to do with your career or your friendships for a really good reason. It's going to be different for all of you. I mean, obviously, if like a very mundane example would be obviously if a friend stole from you or like I don't know, slept with your partner or something like that. Do you really want to revisit it with them? Maybe not. You know what I mean? Or if you were at a job where you got seriously backstabbed and they really disrespected you, do you really want to contact those people again? Will it really be so different? Yeah. You really don't want that. I mean, I've had that in my own life. I'm Cancer rising. you know, pretty recently, actually, somebody reaching out to me that I used to work with, trying to be like, hey, so, you know, I hear you have this and that going on, and trying to, like, you know, tap into my skill set to pull me back into a situation that I very happily left because it was extremely toxic. So, you know, just keep your mind out, an eye out for any sort of revisits like that. But I do feel for a lot of you, there are going to be positive reconnections to either past career connections or past friendships. The action that you should take in the near future, we have the Hangman reverse energy. So definitely pressing the pause button, checking out the landscape of everything going on, not acting too rashly. You want to make sure that you're not glorifying anything that you are remembering from your past. But this is you, you know, I feel like if you have potential to do this, it's very short-lived. You're really going to be very honest and realistic about things. And this is the action that you should be taking is don't rush into anything. Again, another energy I'm feeling where you're going to be more responsive than reactive, having to do with your social life and having to do with your career. So that's so good. And then we have in the outcome position, the Four of Swords. This is great because the Four of Swords is about acknowledging everything that you've been through thus far in your career and in your social, right? In your social connections, in your social life, and really taking the lessons, the beautiful parts of everything that you've learned and everything that you feel has made you grow as a person in the positive ways, and you really identifying what you don't need to take with you and really planning this next phase of your life. Because that's what it's about. It's about taking a minute before you keep moving. So I really like that. I mean, I think that's entirely positive for you guys. Let's find out some more about the Six of Cups, reverse energy, and what to keep an eye out for. Let's see what we can get for that. With the Five of Cups. All right, yeah. So I feel like whatever it is that you're looking back on, there was a Five of Cups energy. Is kind of perfect. You know, when the situation ended in the past with this person or this job, whatever it was, you were very focused on the negative aspects of it, and you were very sad when you pulled yourself away from it. But keep in mind that the Five of Cups energy, there are also two cups of good intention and love still standing. So I feel like at this point, while you're reflecting and reminiscing about this friendship or this business partnership, you're also able to tap into right now how there was still very beautiful parts worth salvaging out of that connection. And that, you know, whatever those two cups still standing remain to be can be very beneficial in your life. And it's something that you would really like to explore again. So, and tap back into. So I think that's good. And we have the Hangman reverse energy. It's the action that you should take. You pressing that pause button and seeing really everything that's there. Right? So for the action that you should take in the near future, the qualifiers for this are you are really just thinking hard and long about your ability. And I feel like you are, your fears are going to be getting in the way here that you need to watch out for, okay? But the action here, the reason why you're in the Hangman energy is because you're recognizing that you have certain fears within this, within either your career or these social connections. The Empress is the mother of the Tarot. This is all about growth and expansion and making things happen and developing relationships, developing your career, growing within your career, okay? And in the reverse, it indicates you fearing that you're not going to be able to grow in a career. The Seven of Wands energy tells me that you're fearing that you're going to be going into a space where you're going to feel the need to constantly defend yourself, right? And that you're afraid that there's not going to be forward movement and there's not going to be things happening. And you're identifying all of these fears and you're pressing the pause button for a minute and you're actually looking at all right, what's actually here right now in front of me as far as opportunity, and what part of my fear sector is being influenced by like less than positive situations from my past. So I think this is great because this is you getting in touch with the fact that you need to address your fears that you've experienced from past situations in order to move forward in a healthy way. Now, these fears don't even have to have happened in the 3D. They could certainly just be vulnerabilities and insecurities that you have about entering this next phase. What if it doesn't really move forward? What if I'm in a space where I end up messing up and I feel like I need to defend myself and I make all kinds of poor decisions and I do everything all wrong and I end up feeling like I'm going to be failing, and if I fail then I can't grow, and what if? And it's you really understanding that those what ifs need to be brought under control. Okay? Because that is a devil energy, you guys. You got to understand your fears. That's a devil energy. And that's a deep, dark side of the moon energy. Don't let Lilith get in the way, right? When it comes to this stuff. So I like that we have the Hangman there because you're really just pressing that pause button. And you're being honest, and you're going to assimilate all of that, because in the Four of Swords energy, this is you realizing what you've been through, realizing your fears, realizing all of that, and figuring out how you're going to move forward despite all of that in a way that's best going to serve you. So this is all very healthy, Cancer. Very healthy. The Emperor, beautiful. Four of Swords, the Emperor. I mean, come on. Your outcome is fine. This is beautiful. You're going to be like large and in charge here at the end of it all, Cancer. Yeah, you're going to be making really awesome connections in career, in friendships. You're going to be viewed as somebody who just has their act together for sure, first of all. I mean, you know, that's the Emperor energy, is like, you know, he has his act together. He's the leader. This is leadership. Leadership. And it's a certain kind of leadership. I always say there are different types of leaderships, right? This is a very transformational type of vibe where you're going to be making choices in your life. They're not only going to impact you, but other people as well in a very, very positive way, having to do with your social connections and your career. And this is there's so much positive here. There really is. You're not feeling it right now because this is you right now, okay? I mean, I understand that. These are rough energies that we're in right now. It just is. Right, but 2020, there's going to be this, such a lightening up, Cancer, for you. You're not even going to believe it. Honestly, such a lightening up, really, for you and Capricorn. Then it's all about Gemini and Sagittarius, but Cancer, Capricorn, you guys are finally really evolving out of this 2-year craziness. I'm going to go back to 2008, all right, for Cancer and Capricorns. Let's go back to 2008 and talk about the changes that have been happening since then, right? I mean, come on. So, but everything is changing, guys. We're also evolving out of a 34-year cycle. We're going to be going into a new 34-year cycle. We're evolving out of a cycle that's been primarily ruled for many years by the Pentacle Earth energy. We're going into air energy. There's just so many changes going on, honestly, and things are, I promise, they're going to lighten up and they're going to be so positive for you. Cancer, that is what I have for you right now. Happy New Year. Have a blessed 2020. I'll see you guys next week for the January read, okay? Until then, bye-bye.